Alright, Chapter 9, Inspection, Checklist of the Substation, Transmission Line, Tribune Line, Substation Inspection, Verify all the equipment is functional properly, proactively diagnose condition that may damage for the equipment, minimize service interruption, the record equipment operation manual of the device, without operates the substation menu of the monitor with a daily basis, remotely supervisory control of the data acquisition system. The supervisor control data acquisition system allows the monitoring system above the voltage of the power system and the various flow of the equipment and alarms the only monthly bias and inspection following items review the power transformer, including the general transformer PM for the bushing free with the contamination, no oil leaks, auxiliary cooling system, no blurredness when the door and closed. Circuit breakers include the general breaking over the appearance of the bushing 3. Contamination or leak, the dock, locked or working substation, insulator, shield, the substructure of the bus support, insulators, suspension, insulators, and circuit switchers. Disconnecting switch, coupling capacitor for the passage, cable, the pie for the lighting, and the rest for the metal clad, switch for the relay, for the communication, equipment, the backup of the batteries, for the control valve, for the lock of the switch, enclosure for the gate, for the fence gate, for the warning system. Warning size including washout, the grounding system, including the broken or loop for the exposed wire, for the exposed ground rods, weeds and paint gravel. The additional inspection for the patrol shall be carried with the following significant weather-related events for the many effect for the equipment. Specific equipment test for the equipment that perform based upon the frequency of the operations of the test are involved with the transformer, gas and oil analysis, oil dielectrical test, relay test for the infrared test for the voltage regulation equipment, test predictive maintenance test for the load tap of the drive for the motor, controlled circuitry for the brake of the operator, mechanism of the battery, and charge test, transmission line inspection, initial inspection. All transmission lines will be inspected after the construction of the completely before the energizing as line. Lineman should be climb with each of the structures for the check of the following conductor condition, conductor slag and clearance for the ground, tie, trees, and structure. Insulator condition, line hard, way the roughness and tightness of the excess inhibitor found that should be removed with the conductors to prevent the coronary discharge. Structure, vibrational line with the guy for the ink for the pulling out with the guy wire conditions, missing with the guy guards with the ground wire connection for the conditions, ground resistive to each of the structure, putting the washout with the damaged aircraft warning lights and operating properly with the aerial inspection, damaged insulator with the broken, damage, and conduct with leaning to downward structure, tree clearance problem, walking inspection, pre-initial climb of the inspection, aerial inspection checklist, make sure the radio and the TV interference with the voltage for the direct corner, discharge with the defect with the insulator distribution line inspection. Common defect with the condition where the inspector should observe the record for the recommended repairs, follow the pole, the broken, damaged pole, the needing of the replace, the bleeding damage, leading pole for the unstable throw, the pole for the hazard location, guide with the guide, slack of the broken, damaged guide with the guides, too close with the primary conductor. The equipment the guy insulator not installed required. 3. Pole top of the assembly, broken, burnt with the damaged pin for the cross arm requiring the replacement of the broken skirt with the pin type of insulators. 4. Line conductor, too much with the slack of the primary conductor floating with the loose conductor with the conductors burning with the tree of the foreign object for the line with the insulation, insufficient vertical clearance and or horizontal clearance from the other wire for the building, parking, that playground, roadway, driveways, loading dock with the silo signs, windmills, space wall with accessible to pedestrians, waterway, sailboat, launching area, railways, airports, swimming pools. Equipment installation, equipment linking all of the rest of the balloon, operating with the ground link, installation device with the balloon, the switch contacts not properly closed, distribution line, equipment, maintenance, the capacitor, maintenance. All switch capacitor, the bank should be inspected with the check with the proper for the operation once each of the year with the time with the proper period automatically switch on and off to meet the system requirement. The capacitor bank of the oil switch if it should be maintained on schedule related with the type of the on off control is insulated in each bank. Maximum number of the open and close the operation between the main. If the switch should normally be not exceed 2,500 experience shown that the following schedule will normally keep the equipment in operation properly. Type of the control maintenance schedule year of the time clock of 3 hours, the voltage 3, the dual temperature 5, the temperature only 8, and time clock and temperature 8 maintenance schedule years. Alright, reclosure maintenance, hydraulic control oil circuit reclosure should normally be maintained after 50 operation or every 2 years. The electronically controlled oil reclosure should be maintained after approximately 150 operation every 2 years. The hydraulic electrically controlled oil reclosure should be maintained in the field with the tank with the distribution shop. The electrical strength of the insulating oil should be preserved with filtering of the test with ensure for the good result of the recloser or manufacturer instructions should be filed with the complete with the inspection repairs, vacuum recloser required with the field with the testing with the 6 year schedule with the excessive number of the recloser operator makes it necessary to reduce the skill of the maintenance for the time period. The high potential testing of the vacuum interrupter bottles must be complete with the field with the lineman. The electric control with the vacuum recloser can be tested in the field by following the manufacturer's instruction. All line recloser should be tested installed with the past revisions and maintenance of the easy isolation of equipment maintenance work. The pole mounted switch maintenance group operated with a single pole switch with insulated with the overhead. The distribution should be checked with each of the times of the operated line with the effort phone. The front contact damage interpreter, the arcing horns, operator line with one important the fact that the insulated equipment rupture protection, proper ground connection solution hardware. Underground distribution circuits of the underground distribution originate with the substation pad mount switch gave the rise of the pole off with the overhead distribution. Rise and pole made. The rise and pole with the underground distribution circuit should be inspected with the overhead line with the inspection maintained. The inspection should include the disconnect of the switch and or fuse cutouts for the lighting of main array Lighting arrestor with integrity with the arrestor ground lead isolator. Switchgear maintenance. Switchgear for the underground electrical distribution circuit should be inspected. The inspection ensures that the external item within strict condition with the pad, with the foundation pads, with the tip of the cracks, with the have the dirty washer out with the under them should be repaired. The paint over the metal strip with the gear should be good condition with the preventing rough. The cabin door should be locked within most of the cases. The bolts shut. Cleanliness with the internal air of the switchgear for the important to maintain the dielectrical strength of the insulation equipment. The insulating oil must be checked with moisture for the contamination of the oil switch feed of their internal equipment that should be inspected for the accordance with the manufacturer inspection instruction capable of the termination ground of the other connection from the switchgear equipment must be kept in condition. Distribution transformer maintenance. Transformer should be checked with the proper loading. The transformer loaded with normally monitored by the transformer load management system. The system takes monthly with kilowatt hours meter readings of the billing purpose of all the customer service. Transformer with convert some of the value of the kilovolt amp load with the kilovolt amp the rating of the transformer overload. Transformer should be replaced with the ones with adequately capacity to prevent the transformer from failing to prevent fires. Your pole type transformer should be inspected with the visually the back of the head of the of the overhead line. Inspection of the head mount transformers inspect the items discovered previously with the underground distribution system or distribution circuit. The switchgear for the annual inspection is desired. Underground cable maintenance with the termination for the underground cables inspect with the problem of the maintenance of the procedure with the ride pole switchgear for the padded mount transformers. The route of the underground cable circuit should be walked with the line with the 2-year circle with the route of the cable should be inspected with the obstacle with the damage of the guitar of the cable and change of the grade of the ground that could cause the cable to be exposed and damaged and wash out with the cable to fail with the operation of the maybe it must be located repaired before the second enclosure. The low voltage cable should be inspected with the wall. Check with the root of the primary cable with the wall. The connected disconnecting service with the customer lid shove should be removed from the enclosure. For the check with the visually of the cable damage with the rodent and problems with the washout required repair with the usually completed with the lineman cable with the time of the inspection. Underground primary distribution cable of self electrical installation have experience. High voltage, high rated electrical failure with the after several years of operation result of electrochemical treatment. The electrochemical treating is generally covered with the presence of the water conducted with the penetration of the isolation successfully demonstrated with the length of the cable that existed. Standard flushing with the conductor with the dry nitrogen. Remove the moisture failing with the conductor with a pressurized hydroelectric fluid with the cable with the insulation contacts available to complete the maintenance of those of the companies and their experience in the procedure. Street light mains with aluminum output with electrical amp. Decrease with the UV accumulated with the dirt. Interfere with the light reflection of the transmission street light with the insulation with the design with the absolute candle level with the recommended with the ASA standard roadway lighting. Be representing the average illumination level of the roadway with illuminating source with the lowest output with the luminaire with the dirtiest condition for the luminaire refractor should be washed with the lamp with the replaced with aluminum output. If the lamp has fallen with approximately 80% of the initial able to maintain with the design foot candle level. Lamp burnout should be considered with the maintenance of the street light. The rated lamp life is defined with the time of the required for the half the lamps of the fail, the mortality of the curve of the various type of the lamp with the relatively flat with the initial 67% rated life with the everything 6,000 hours incandescent lamp with the example of the only 10% of the lamps will fail with the first 4,000 hours of the burning time while 40% of the failing the next 2,000 hours of the burning time with the proper maintenance of the street with highway lighting with the important of the with a high degree of the service quality of the street lights should be inspected in 10-year schedule of the factors include with the type of the street lamp illumination. Luminaries should be cleaned with the washing time. The inspection luminaries should be checked from proper level of both of the transverse and horizontal direction. Street light is installed with the steep grade with the transverse direction. Luminaries should be leveled very well. Street grade defect with the broken refractor. The luminary must be replaced. Many street lamp problems. Street light problem failure with the report with the public of the policy employed with the conserving the owning of the lamps to be able to defect the photo cell of the battery should be replaced properly. Lighting for the ground replacement of mercury vapor, the high pressure sodium vapor lamp on a 10-year schedule should minimize the number of the lamp head with the maintain light output. The corner for the established aim of the replacement can be coordinated. Inspection, cleaning, and washing schedule to minimize the effort required. Voltage regulator maintenance. Distribution voltage regulator should be inspected externally by the inspector of the patrolling overhead line with the problems should be done with the insulator leaking over the unusually operating over. This should be corrected with the lineman as soon as practical with the operation. The voltage regulator should be observed by checking the operation counter. In reading of the voltage of the A of the recording, the voltmeter of the regulator interval set at the various locations along with the circuit beyond the regulator. The voltage regulator should be removed from the service line manual to maintain with the current of the manufacturer recommendation determined by the number of the operation tap change within the time of service numeral. Normally, the voltage regulators can operate several years between the maintenance periods. All manufacturers require the installation or to keep the drive with the free of the carbon to maintain the dielectrical strength of the oil. The maintenance of the equipment of the transmission distribution lines pole maintenance. All wood poles should be pound with the hammer to line man with the visibly effective being climb with the gold pole with the solid sound solid when hit with the hammer the DK pole with the sound hollow with the drum with the visible inspection include with the check the general condition, position, crack and shovel out with the count of the weak of the pole setting with the depth of the soul, with the conditions, hole, spot with the woodpecker, the hole with the violent spot for the poles. Reveals possible defects should not be declined with the line. None of the poles are made with the shape of the repair with securing them. All wood poles should be pressured with the thermal treated with the preservative, which are the new treated wood poles should resist decay with the 20 years depending on the ambient soil condition schedule. Inspection should be based on expanding the distribution pole. With the schedule, with the crop, with the chain, with the bolts, with the replay, with the street, widen the project with the alignment, and detect with the default, with the wood and spool, particular type of the binge, with the similar pole, with the at the same time should be inspected to maintain, if necessary, a pole hit with a hammer. The lineman will not always reveal decay. The Electrical Power Research Institute developed an instrument with an non-destructive depth method to predict the pole. Lineman key to the load species, the diameter of the pole with the instrument with the track with the key with the pole with a few times with a marble side of the steel ball that has been attached to the pole with a microprocessor with the instrument analysis sonic wave of the patterns with the because passing through the wood pole and indicate the current strength of the pole. If the instrument indicate for the pole strength with the pole testing with the instrument with not available around the pole with the axe with the depth of the 12 to 18 inch probe depth complete with the hand drilling with the 3/8 inch hole with the below with the ground line with the pole into the pole by a 30 to 45 degree downward angle with the depth of the position to reach the center of the pole. The wood shaping they have check with the decay of the drill holes are plugged and treated with 3/8 minutes job to keep the moisture out and to prevent the further decay. Pole with the sufficient decay with the weak and then there should be reinforced or replaced. External decay of the pole should be shaved away with the pole. The accident condition should have the preservative applied with the ground line wrap with the moisture proof of the barrier with the wood pole that the created can be treated internally with the chemical decay with the earlier decay with the actual voids form. Poles can be strengthened into the decay with the replacement and placing of the section with the galvanized steel base adjacent with the pole with the steel pole with the driven and with the ground and banded with the pole above the ground line. The wood poles insulate with the woodpecker feeding the area over the often dampened by the woodpecker damage can be prevented with the wrapping of the pole executed sheet with a high density polyethanol with a high gloss finish with a plastic wrap prevented for the woodpecker for the verging of the pole with the lineman can climb the wrap pole with the penetration of the wrap of the climb of the gap if the lineman must do with the considerable work of the pole shall be re-wrapped with the work is complete with the prevent site for the penetration of the plastic wrap and perform the branches of the birds. Wood transmission lines will usually scheduled the inspection after 20 years. The strip of the tree with the pole condition adequate with the repeat and the inspection treatment with normally scheduled 8 to 10 year interval. Experience indicate the pole will be properly treated when the new and maintain the adequate schedule have been average the life of the 45 years. Insulator maintenance. Transmission distribution line with inspection will detect with the damage insulator with the insulator. Most insulator damage will result with the gunshot, lighting of the flash with the contamination, flash over the wind, damage the broken with the crack of the damaged insulator. Should be played with as soon as they are detected. Effective insulators may cover the visible corner of the interference with the voltage, propagate the radio interference condition that can be detected with the line. The instrument is designed for the purpose of the completing schedule inspection. Insulators typically can contaminate with the atmosphere when they require the frequent cleaning of the insulator can be water, the high pressure with the water with the special over the hose nozzle with the sheet to develop for the safe washing and energized insulators must be followed. Conductor maintenance. Conductor be damaged in a line of vibration galloping with the sway oscillation with the unbalanced loading and lighting discharge with the short circuit condition with the inspection of the transmission distribution line via the lineman will reveal the need for the conductor repair. Abrasion the outside surface of the conductor is visible with the inspector abrasion of the shaft, the impact layer of the accompanying with the relative of the movement between the loop of the tie with the other conductor hardware and the conductor and armor rods. The abrasion of the surface of the damage can be identified with the black pipe of the conductor to the tie wire. Fatigue result of the failure of the conductor strands of the tie wire. If the damage conductor detected between the series of the damage of the complete failure curve, the repair lineman may be installed by armor rod by installing performed armor rods and perform line space. Tie wires insulated to discover the inspection result of the radio to interfere with the complaint with require the immediate repair of the damage. Conductor can be repaired even if some of the conductor strands are broken by removing the old tie wire with an armor rod that is present with installing performed armor rods and performed line guards relay lying on the some of the performed distribution type of the wrap black ties. Transmission and distribution lines are experienced that indicate the conductor for the prolonged period of the vibration should have the vibration dampened and to prevent the fatigue and failure with the conductor performed viral vibration dampers will prevent conductor fatigue of the inner wire over the threading of the scoring of the distribution line insulator delays. Transmission distribution line can be tested with the thermal vision with the equipment located with the hot spot of the conductor equipment caused by whose connections are where other defect with the thermal vision equipment to locate the hot spot for the using infrared scanning thermal inspecting the line, but some of the equipment is provided with a photographic record as well. The visual display with the hot spot defect thermal vision equipment can be operated with a helicopter with a van type vehicle with an operator carrying equipment. Chapter 10, Tree Trimming.